education in the context of academic skills. We were kept busy following the development of the embryos, counting and graphing, writing a daily journal, reading stories, poems, singing, and making pictures about chickens. One day, Bob Duell stopped by. Jesse asked, "Do you know how you can tell which chick is a girl? If the back end is pink, it's a girl." I'm not sure that our sex education was grasped accurately. Another year, Ralph Leatherman loaned us a lamb to roam in the kinderyard. Alas, a zealous painter decorated its coat with large fluorescent purple spots. 35 years later, when I attended the high school graduation open house of Nicholas Kaufman, a 1993 kindergarten alum, the culprit confessed. Our mayor cleared his conscience by revealing his involvement in the paint job when he was a college student. The Goshen College Laboratory Kindergarten annually during Children's Book Week published a composite book with each child authoring one page. Like my experience in 8th grade, the children ran the spirit duplicator and marveled at seeing their own page multiply. Then they assembled a book for themselves, including a page from each of their classmates. Kindergarten News was published weekly for 34 years. These newsletters were intended to keep parents informed of kindergarten activities and to help children understand that those words on that page tell what we did at school. As you entered Souter Hall today, you received a copy of the news sheet from current kindergarten children. Recycle it at your own discretion. My formal education continued while teaching at Goshen College. On multiple summers, I studied at 7 universities. Through the University of California, I spent 2 summers in Europe studying early childhood centers. I had a special interest in playgrounds. Notice the dramatic play vehicles I saw in Russia and Germany. In fact, it was in Moscow. Later, the kinder van found a place in our kinderyard. You see, the reason I attended various institutions was to follow educators whom I considered to be leaders in the field of early childhood education, like Burton White at Harvard. But how could I pull all these studies together into a doctoral program? I found it at Union Graduate School in Cincinnati, an extended external program in which you plan your study and propose a project demonstrating excellence, equivalent to a thesis. A committee monitors the students' work. How I wish education could be more tailor-made, releasing highly motivated learners to find answers to their questions. That's what I experienced in my master's study at Bank Street College of Education in New York City, too. My PhD internship was field research, on-site investigations. I made a 4,300-mile loop by car through 19 states and the District of Columbia. Looking at the full moon as I traveled assures me of God's presence, something akin to that guardian angel picture. When people occasionally ask, "Are you traveling alone?" I answer, "My God and I travel together." The development of the course, The Young Child in the Family Setting, was the action research component of my graduate study. In March 1978, at the invitation of the U.S. Office of Education, I represented Goshen College along with 13 other institutions at a seminar in which we presented our models for training home visitors. I'm so pleased to hear that making home visits is again being encouraged in the schools. Through home visits in August, I felt I was 6 weeks ahead in knowing the children and forming a partnership with parents. In 1974, I learned 10 families had been camping during the summer preceding kindergarten. A mother asked, "Well, why don't you have a camp out?" So we did, camping as families near the college cabin, with Dr. Whitmer presenting a slideshow of birds in the evening, followed by s'mores and a bedtime story. In the morning, the children helped stir orange juice and prepare biscuits on a stick for breakfast. Parents always enriched our kindergarten curriculum. I also put into operation a tele-ed service whereby college students made tapes which children and parents could hear by telephone. The governor of Indiana recognized this with a certificate as an outstanding service to the community. My professional connections have been enriching. Joining with others on the 4C Council and later the Step Ahead Council, we wrestled with challenges related to operating programs for young children. I was given quite a lift when I completed my work as Educare Chair. We had 63 meetings in 14 months. As a member of the Association for the Education of Young Children, I served as the 13th Indiana president from 82 to 84. The last office I held from 2008 to 2004 to 2008 at the state level was historian. For the National Association, I visited 37 early childhood centers, validating their self-studies as part of the accreditation process. How inspiring to join others working on behalf of young children and their families. Again, among the cloud of witnesses of whom I am a part, please stand. Archibald personnel, colleagues from Bethel Day Nursery, representatives of competent people who taught in the lab kindergarten, some enabling me to take study leaves, staff members and colleagues in the education department who are one reason I had the best job on campus. I can't see if you're standing. Former kindergarten students, 7 of whom now are teaching at Goshen College, and 9 who are current college students. Parents, all 5 of Margaret and John Ingold's attended the college kindergarten. Stay standing. Former college students, representatives of early childhood organizations, Lifelong Learning Institute peers, just friends, oh wait, just a minute here, just friends with whom I continue to learn new songs following our debut at the county fair, and my active older adults aquatic aerobics class who continually learn. Join our class in the Rec Fitness Center and learn the meaning of our idiosyncrasies. Fourth, among the cloud of witnesses of whom I am a part, is my global family. I've always been interested in geography. I have traveled in 48 of the United States and in 25 foreign countries, but traveling to travel has not been my goal. My first travel abroad was in 1952 as a member of a summer study tour, a forerunner of SST. We had orientation aboard the MS Italian ocean liner. After traveling through 7 countries, studying history, culture, the arts, and making friends along the way, the group dispersed to work sites. I first joined an international work camp where we built homes for refugees. A few years earlier, armies from these same nations were destroying homes. The second assignment was in London, where I helped teach Bible school, perhaps the first one ever there. At least it was written up in the Queen's favorite newspaper. Bomb craters have become the playgrounds for children. The bomb shelter became a clubhouse. Involved in the aftermath of war gave a different perspective on the world. The next summer, I volunteered at a migrant camp in mid-New York State. Bean pickers came from Florida via truck and were welcomed to cabins equipped with mattresses. Hopeful, enterprising workers transformed them into the family's summer home. The common cooking shack provided food that early on children learned to share. Our voluntary service unit visited the 9 migrant camps, providing afternoon and evening activities for the children and for adults on the frequent rainy days. Health kits prompted a lesson on toothbrushing. At the camp, we were able to set up a children's center, remarkably like my playhouse, in the chicken coop in the orchard. Donated clothing was a perfect source for dress-up possibilities. When returning for my final year at Goshen College, I lived at Kenwood House, 1 block north of campus on 8th Street. It became an international house we shared with students from France, Germany, and Switzerland. What a plus that was. For 2 summers, E.K. Simpira, a Goshen College international student from Uganda, worked in the Archbold community and lived with my parents, who retired in Archbold. The neighbors could tell when the family was eating because peals of laughter floated out through the kitchen windows. The Kaufman neighbor children included Armin, the 3rd child from the left. When he was a student at Goshen College, he worked in the laboratory kindergarten. Now, I am indebted to his son, Jordan, a senior Goshen College student, who is projecting the PowerPoint he prepared for today, challenged by the deterioration of graphics. He is a student of Merrill Crable and Ann Berry, both who are kindergarten alum. Decades of connections. Back to E.K., the student from Uganda. My father had a good sense of humor. He enjoyed jokes. I must have inherited a bit of that jovial nature. One day he met a dummy. He made a dummy and put it in E.K.'s bed. When E.K. came upstairs and saw it, he went limp and collapsed on the top step until he recovered from laughing. Eventually, E.K. married Lenora Dietzel, one of my roommates. After E.K. lived with my parents, they opened their home to 35 people during their retirement years. Is it any wonder that I have made my guest room available to international students on special occasions for varying lengths of time? Among the intercultural exchanges were personal contacts with Amish families. This came through teaching 2nd and 3rd grades at Clinton Community School, just east of Goshen. Our long ago unit was authentically put together through the generosity of Amish families who loaned their candle molds, baby clothes, doll cradle, McGuffey readers to reconstruct bygone days. Only paper collars were needed to transfer young lads into pilgrims. We established genuine, lasting friendships with families that later allowed laboratory kindergartners to visit the animal menagerie, colts, black lambs, hens taking care of ducklings on an Amish farm. Next, living and teaching for 3 years as a minority in inner-city Chicago, referred to earlier, put me in touch with an oppressed culture. I've been humbled by the strength of those who can rise up when knocked down and yet continue to press forward. I have witnessed undaunted faith. It was a goal in the laboratory kindergarten to include children of varying racial, cultural, socioeconomic, educational backgrounds. A look through the kindergarten pictorial directory from 62 to 96 revealed 3 children came from Africa, 13 from Asia, 5 from Europe, 4 from the Near East, 19 were Afro-American,